good songwriter just might be the guy who's the one-liner. He just might say something really cool. You know, he might just be the guy that comes in and like lightens up the room a little bit. He's a songwriter because he's helping to capture the vibes. He's giving you a direction. What's good? It's your boy Sh8yne08. We're here at LY Talks. Let's get to it.
Let's get to it, Shayne. So honestly, how would you introduce yourself to the world?
I would just say that I'm a creative. You know, I'm the guy that they just, you know, you put in the room to kind of help find the vibe. You know, whether that be on the production side or the writing side. I'm just there to help things be as authentic as possible and to be as popping as possible. But yeah, I'm playing both sides of the coin, which is exhausting, but it's cool. It's cool.
It's also, especially being able to be a creative on both sides of the coin, I feel like sometimes it's a little tough to separate. You know, what do you think about that?
Yeah, for sure. You know, because people want to put you in one thing, right? They want to say, like just how you asked me, it's like, you know, when I come in a room, what do they introduce me as? Like, am I a producer? Am I a writer? You know, sometimes they don't know. You know, even my manager is down to like, this is Sh8yne08. That's it. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just there, and whatever role I could play, I just play it. You know, that's it.
And what's your favorite though? Because I know.
Depends on the genre, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I really enjoy songwriting because that's where I started. Before I ever made beats, before I even touched the keyboard, like, you know, all I was doing was singing and songwriting. So I think that's probably my go-to. But now that I am making beats, you know, I enjoy that too. But songwriting for sure, I think is like, it holds a different place in my heart because I feel like that's what really steers a record.
Very true. A lot of people don't even understand like the importance of songwriters for these actual artists that are on the levels that we're all looking at every day when we open Instagram. Like,
it's important.
People don't know. A lot of people believe that, you know, everybody that we're seeing every day on winning all these awards are just by themselves making it happen. Yeah. But they don't understand that the songwriter is such a critical role that it may be background to a certain extent, but for those who know, such as yourself, like, you know what that really means.
Man, and I think people put stigmas on songwriters too. Like, you know, a good songwriter just might be the guy who's the one-liner. He just might say something really cool. You know, he might just be the guy that comes in and like lightens up the room a little bit. He's a songwriter because he's helping to capture the vibes. He's giving you a direction. But it's not always just because they helped write each word and each line. You know, some guys are just really good at catching the vibe and like they're one-liners, and then that becomes the hook, and that's like it. You know, and so you know, I mean, respect to everybody who does on both sides, but you know, I like the guy who's catching the vibe for sure.
Yeah. And when you're creating, do you like to just kind of have an open notebook and just see where your mind's going, or do you prefer to have that specific, like, you know, project, like, you know, you're working for this type of artist, this type of production? Like, what's your thought on that?
I think there's times when both are beneficial. You know, it's good to work with a purpose. It's good to know where you're headed, but sometimes you don't. Sometimes you don't have direction, and sometimes it's just like, we need something. We don't know what the something is. And I think those are actually the most fun, you know, when you're just directionless and you're just doing whatever feels natural, you know, because everybody's natural is different, especially if you're in a group setting. You know, you find out who's natural is what, you know.
Yeah.
And yeah, so it's cool. It's cool on both sides. Like, to work with direction is cool, obviously, because that means you're aiming towards something. But to catch a vibe and just do something off the cuff is like.
The special feeling. Yeah, they're both, you know, they're both really, like, it kind of depends on the moment also, you know, it depends on what vibe it is that's being caught.
For sure.
But another thing, so for example, you know, when you get to these songwriting camps and it's some 5 rooms, 10 rooms, you have 5, 10 songwriters in each room, and it's kind of like gets to a point to where it's a little bit overwhelming. You know, even if you're not a writer in that room, you just walk into the room and it's a lot of hungry people that are trying to, it should be used as motivation, but it is overwhelming. How do you step into a room like that and like just get comfortable and start into that creative mindset?
Well, I kind of position myself as I'm everybody's homeboy, right? Like, I feel like that's just like, when I come in the room, I'm just like, I'm here to cool it with y'all. Like, I'm not here to like be competition, even though we are. You know what I mean? Maybe at the end of all want that record. But I'd rather catch the vibe with you because you might write the next number one, and I might need to call you one day, and I might write the next number one, and you might need to call me. It's like, I really like group setting work because you get to just explore different sides of people's personalities, and I feel like people have forgotten that, like, that's kind of what music is about. Like, music is a team sport, and yeah, there's guys that can do it all. I mean, I'm not saying any kind of way I could, and there's other guys in our city and in the game that could too. But I'm sure they really find their hit when they're in the natural with somebody else. You know what I'm saying? And like just catching a vibe and just, shooting the shit.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't ever enter a songwriting camp as like I'm here to like prove my point. Like I'm here to like, like your point will be made as long as you have valid input. If you don't have valid input and you're not a value to the room, then you can't be. But as long as you're adding value, there's no need to compete. Like it'll come across. So yeah, that's how I position myself. I'm just like, let's what we doing? Like, who got the vibes? Let's do it. So.
So when would you think you first realized in your life that you wanted to take music as a passion and take it to the next level?
Man, I probably was a teenager for sure. My family was always like, because of my size, you should play ball. Like play ball. Like, you're 6 foot something, play ball. And I don't know. Not that I didn't like sports, but I've always been a creative kid. I like to paint. I used to paint my Air Force Ones different colors, and like I would even do it as like a little side hustle back in high school. Like people would pay me to like paint their shoes and shit. And I kind of knew at that point that like I wanted to do something creative. I just didn't know what. And I had always been singing as a kid, but where we're from, I'm from Palm Beach, I hadn't really known anybody that made it from where I was from. So I never really looked at music early on as like being something I really wanted to do. Actually, I wanted to do fashion, I wanted to draw, I wanted to do all that stuff first. And then the older I got and the more connected I became to other people who were doing it, like I was like, okay, well, this is an option, So that's where it came from.
And then, so it's been a while then, because
your
teenage while.
For sure. It's been a minute.
It's been a minute. So, what's one piece of advice you'd give yourself that from everything you've gone through, that first day before you jumped in the game?
Oh, well, game is tricky because it's dirty too. But I would say people gravitate to people they like, and they're less likely to fuck over people that they like. So I kind of try to take the position of, like I said, like, when I work with people, I'm trying to find that camaraderie with them, right? So if I had a piece of advice, I would just say, come in and be natural. Come in and like, find out who you are, and then find people who are like-minded, and link arms with the people who, have similar vibes and similar interests. We don't all make one type of music. We don't all have to, which is so a whole nother part of the game, whole nother part of the story, right? Like, you kind of have to be creatives and be individual. But yeah, like, come in and be the best version of yourself, and just, don't block your own blessings. Try to like really lock arms with people. So I mean, I have a lot of contacts and people that I could call at any moment, just to hang out and just to chill, and that's cool too. It's not always about like, hey man, we need the best product. It's like the product will come as long as you have like good spirit with people. So
yeah, that's real.
Yeah.
And out of all the moments you lived so far, which one do you think has taught you the most?
Which moment has taught me the most? Well, you also got to protect yourself in the game. So being very young, I came in at an industry level, I came in still as a teenager. I was 19, 20 maybe. And the only downside I would say to being friendly with people is that you sometimes let your guard down. So kind of have to do both. And I'm not trying to be contradictory either. I'm saying you can do both. You should do both. You should link arms with people, and you should, creatively find people who are like-minded. But you also need to find ways to like safeguard your work and like make sure that people don't overstep their boundaries, because they do. They'll do it just because, So that's the other side. When I was young, I would say I was a part of some bigger records that, had I been recognized for them then, who knows where it would have led me now. So I would just say, just be cautious, but still, it's something that I learned like a long time ago from someone who was much older than me. It's like they say, don't live with a closed fist, right? Like live with an open hand. So like even if somebody steal from you, even if somebody like do you wrong, right? Like, God can't bless you living with a closed fist. Like you can't put nothing in there. You know what I mean? Like you have to live with an open hand, and that's what I try to do. It's just like, live with an open hand. So.
Shit, that's real.
Yeah, for real.
Who are some of the artists and producers you worked throughout the years with that you feel you've built that dream team chemistry with?
Oof. Dream team chemistry? Okay, so I do have a few go-tos, but I try to work with lots of people, right? But I would say there's a producer by the name of French. Mm-hmm. Definitely my guy. Producer out on the West Coast named Goose. Definitely my guy. I'm probably gonna miss people, I'm sure, but 1040, super exceptional. Who else, man? I know I'm gonna miss some names. They're gonna be mad at me. But those will be the guys that I feel I probably have the most chemistry with. Meb the Renegade, for sure. For sure. I owe him a lot. I owe him like half my career. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. So I'm sure there's a few more out there. But on the production side, but again, because I play both sides of the coin, I have a lot of writers I call too. So shout out to Hadar, shout out to Sky Monroe, shout out to G6. There's so many great writers, bro. Like that just played the back for so long, but they're gonna get their time for sure. 100%. We all will.
That's part of the game, right?
Yeah.
It's about catching your time and being prepared for your time, but knowing that you won't know when that time is coming.
Yeah. That's real.
So you're from Palm Beach, and we're in Miami right now.
Yeah.
And we got Broward and we got all of that. These are three very big postal codes and everything right now.
Yeah.
From your view, who do you see winning that battle in the last 5 years, in the next 5 years? What's running right now?
Well, it's an interesting question because personally, and maybe it's just because I'm from Palm Beach, personally I feel that we have a lot of people who come and they bite from us and then they run back, right? Like if you really look at it, we have a handful of producers who are either platinum or gold, writers that are platinum or gold. I'm just talking about just Palm Beach exclusively, right? Mm-hmm. And most of them are responsible for those hits from those people who are from Broward and Miami. So if you want to be technical, I would say Palm Beach probably breeds the sound and people go back and they take it. But I would say that Broward probably has the biggest group of successful artists. And I would say Miami has had some of the biggest, but not as many. So they all have their place, I think we all have our place, but in numbers, I would say Broward just pumps out so many more artists. But I feel like too, even though Broward isn't, and I don't know like numbers or population and all that shit. Like I don't know who's biggest or whatever.
Yeah.
But I would say like they have like the most like different pockets of like groups of kids that like pop. Like they'll either be from Pompano or they'll be from like somewhere else in Broward. Like I feel like when you're from Miami, it's almost like there aren't like, I'd say y'all don't have hoods and stuff, but I feel like it don't seem like everything's so segregated.
Yeah, that's valid.
You know what I'm saying? Like I don't know. But I would say Palm Beach kind of breeds the sound.
Yeah.
But I'm biased.
Right, a little bit biased, but I mean it's
But we again,
it's an
like,
opinion.
Yeah, again, we do have like a lot of bigger producers. Like I said, 1040. You got Sh8yne, you got Double A, you got Castro, you got Foreign Tech, you got
Heavy hitters.
yeah, and then hopefully I'll be next.
You already got to put your name in there.
Yeah.
You're already doing your thing,
Yeah,
bro.
yeah, for sure.
Speaking of, what can we see coming soon from you?
Man, I wish I could say the names.
Yeah, I already know.
I wish I could say the names, but I do have some singles that are coming from some artists. And I have been on both sides of the coin on both of those things sometimes. Like, I might have produced it and wrote it. I might have produced it solely, So I feel like I'm going to end up having a run. You know what I mean? Like I'm gonna have this crazy run because I also feel like I'm intentional. I am being intentional about tagging. Big shout out to Hit Crew, of course. Shout out to Andy Boy. And I feel like we're being very intentional about the branding process of the name. And I feel like after these few songs come, like it's just gonna be like. They're just gonna fall all into place.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. But shout out to Andy Boy because man, he's a marketing genius. And I've had so much more progression with him than I've ever had in my career. So shout out to him.
Yeah, major shout out to him.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's important to be able to acknowledge that too and see that advancement is coming due to, of course, your hard work and your talent, but now adding something to the equation, which is what a lot of people don't understand.
It's just like putting a little gas on.
Yeah, it's just sometimes that's what all you really need to just get that next level. You know, it's a little bit of gas, a little bit of push, a little bit of right mindset, and that's it.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Next 5 to 10 years, what can I expect to see? Sh8yne08.
Next 5 to 10, well, I'm not super young out here. You know what I'm saying? So I would say after I go on this run, I'm probably gonna want to take some producers under my wing, songwriters too, and help them. You know what I'm saying? Like plant their seeds, and hopefully. By doing that, it won't take them as long, as it took me. But I'm not tripping on the time really. It's just like everything that happened in my journey. Like I needed it to. You know what I mean? Like, but I would hope that it's kind of like when you're like a big homie to somebody. It's like you would hope that whatever you help them do kind of like expedites them to success. You know what I'm saying? So probably in the next 5 to 10, that's in my scope. Just putting some other people on. Of course, working with new artists. I would really like to hold some type of label position. Maybe an A&R somewhere. Maybe, something. That's what I would like. And I would like to bring, not solely, but I would hope by then we would have more label offices, label people in our cities versus having to like go to LA, go to New York, because everybody comes here to work, right? Like everybody's at Hit Factory, Circle House, the Tunnel, LY, you know what I mean? Like everybody's gonna come to Miami to not only play but work. So why the labels don't come here? You know what I'm saying?
It's happening.
Yeah.
It's happening.
Yeah.
It'll happen. By those 5 to 10 years, it definitely.
Yeah.
make sense.
I feel it.
Yeah.
I think it's happening. I think that's inevitable. But that's what I see. Like, hopefully, holding some kind of position where I can, like, you know, the part that sucks, kind of about parts of the game is like, I feel like we got some dinosaur ears in high positions where it matters, right? Like, I feel like, man, y'all don't have the ear. Y'all don't, like, and why are you the one making decisions? You know, when this young kid who's over here who's piping hot in his city, you tell him he's, you know, oh, you don't have enough followers or whatever. It's like, you don't hear his music, like, you don't hear his influence. So I feel like that part has become like distant. Like, they're not hearing the influence. They're all about, like, you know, is this a TikTok hit? Is this like, how many followers you got? Is this, like, those things I feel like will come. Let them get a second hit. You don't know if his second one might be the one, you know? Like, so, yeah. I would hope to hold some kind of position so we can help remove the old ears. And then eventually I'll be old ears, and so hopefully some other young kid will come move me out the way. You know what I mean? I feel like that's just how I go. You know, so.
It's the cycle. It's the game.
Yeah.
What's one of the biggest things that you've personally seen change in the game that excites you?
Oh, weirdos. Right? Like, I'm super excited that people can be their authentic self and win with it. Like, you don't have to, like, you know, you ain't gotta trap out and, like, talk about killing or whatever to win. And if that's not what you're on, then you shouldn't talk about it anyway. You know what I'm saying? But I feel like there are kids now that, like, are coming and being their authentic self, and they winning. And I think that's great. That's, you know, at some point in the past, you know, like, we championed people who were themselves, and now we've got to some part in the game where, like, we want everybody to be the same. I feel like that's whack. You know, like, let everybody be different, and then you go like the ones you like, and you don't like the ones you don't like. It's like, you know what I'm saying? But to make everybody sound the same so that you can like everybody, it's like, that's stupid. That's funny. Yeah. So I'm excited about that. Like,
Yeah.
I kind of like working with the weirdo kids. they real as fuck. Like,
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They know what they like. They know what they don't like. I'm like, all right, cool. Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So then, let's see. To wrap it up, a piece of advice to somebody who thinks they can do this, but they don't have somebody pushing them.
Somebody who thinks they can.
Like somebody who wants to come into this industry.
Yeah.
We all know it's cutthroat.
Yeah.
We know nothing's easy, but sometimes all it takes is a jump. You know, what do you think somebody can like keep in mind that would help them make that jump?
Man. You ever heard Milli Vanilli? You ever heard Who Let the Dogs Out? You ever heard, like, what's another one? The point is, like, somebody gonna like it somewhere. You know what I'm saying? Like, you just find your niche. Now, it's not to say everybody should be a rapper, everybody should be a singer. I'm not saying that, but if you are musically inclined, and there's somebody near you who also believes that you are musically inclined, like you're not the only person in your circle that believes that, follow that shit and see where it goes. But just be as authentic as you can and keep pushing, you know. And it might take a while, but, you know, even if you started a business, that would take a while. If you went to school for 8 years to become a doctor, that would take a while. If you went to whatever, you know, everything takes time, you know, so it ain't gonna be instant, but if you catch one, you catch one. Hey, fuck it.
So thanks again, Shayne, you know, for coming out. Let people know where they can follow you, and, you know, any specific little project you got coming real soon that you want to give a little shout out or something, anything you want to do.
Paperwork ain't in yet, so I can't say. But hey, y'all can definitely follow me. Sh8yne08 is Sh8yne08 on all platforms. And yeah, just keep looking. We'll be popping up real soon. For sure.
LY Talks, we out.
Let's get to it.